I'm going to tell you how we can very well peak at about $250,000 Bitcoin in this next bull cycle, and it should not take that much longer, to be honest with you. Welcome back, NeoFX. Listen, it's November 25th. It's almost 3 a.m. here in Texas. You better fucking believe there's a good reason I'm making this video, because I don't do a lot of these, and those of you who know me know this. Listen, you're gonna want to stick around. I'm gonna go over 3 main points here. First of all, opposite to popular opinion out there, I'm gonna tell you right now, there's a very high chance that 20,000 is not where we're pausing, and most likely nowhere near that. I think this has got some legs to go. Okay, this has got some fucking room to go before we even start thinking about any major pullbacks in Bitcoin. And I'm gonna give you a somewhat controversial price prediction, and those of you out there are going wow this and wow that all over YouTube as to the recent price action. Look, I've been telling you this shit for the last 2.5 years. It's no surprise to me. It's nice to see it finally come through, but we're just getting started, guys. I'm gonna tell you how we can very well peak at about $250,000 Bitcoin in this next bull cycle, and it should not take that much longer, to be honest with you. I know it sounds crazy now, but just you're gonna have to hear me out and watch the video, okay? And then we're gonna probably go over a few picks on some other altcoins, okay? Before I do this, before I get into this, for those of you who don't know me, let me give you some credentials. I've been trading for the last 11 years, I want to say. Close to 7 of those successfully, in other words, profitably. And back in November, which I never heard of Bitcoin, back in November of 2017, as this shit was making headlines, a subscriber actually asked me to do some to look up a chart and see what's going on, and it was at about $7,000 Bitcoin. And I want to show you before I get going what I said at that time. Again, I knew nothing about Bitcoin itself, but I do know price action, and I get my honest opinion as to what was going on and why people needed to watch out at that point in time. Again, Bitcoin had gone up from like $600 to like $7,000 in that year. Okay, this is just before the blast off at the end of 2017. So for those of you who don't know me, let me show you how I picked the top, and then after that I'm going to show you how I picked the bottom about a year after that. Okay, so here's me 2017 around November.
So be extremely careful about, in my opinion, getting into Bitcoin right now. And I repeat, can it go to 10,000 bucks? Yes, you can. You can go to 20,000 bucks, because volume will drive that. If you get 5 million people.
All right, so fast forward about a year or so later. Here's my bottom prediction per the price action at the time. Is an uptrend, no fucking doubt about it. Let me see. Okay, we are essentially carving out our C point. Where that exactly will be, we're gonna have to see. Okay, we're gonna have to see, because you got to think on your feet as prices go live. But my guess is the 618 was breached pretty solidly. I mean, my guess is we're going to 786. Is at 4,200. Can we eventually hit the 86? I mean, it'd be painful to watch, but that's at about 2,700 to 3,000. That's possible too. I doubt it, but it's possible. Okay, I have to be honest. It's possible. My strategy is not changing. If it goes back to that, I will just keep on fucking buying more. That's it. I'll tell you this, guys. It is very, very simple. There's some things you just got to keep simple. This is a chart that I sent my subscribers, my paid subscribers, back in November of 2018, about a year later, okay? And I told them that we're most likely going to bottom out at around 2,900 bucks, because historically these types of early technologies, okay, not just because Bitcoin already did this in 2014, but because historically this is the case. The pullback is massive, and that 86 usually provides the last. A lot of people don't use this Fibonacci, but I do. Provides the last, the absolute last kind of support in this case, so to speak. Most of the altcoins will go 90-95% pullback, okay? But Bitcoin has, has really proven itself as the absolute fucking king of cryptocurrency. And believe it or not, even that small difference in retracement really shows what Bitcoin is, because it's rarely gone past that. All right, so let me prove it to you. 2014, guys. 2014. Seems like recent history now, but what do we have? Okay, I'm not gonna go through the history of Bitcoin. You guys should know this shit by now, but what do we have? Absolutely to the fucking pip, and I think it got tested twice. Well, almost twice. 86%. Okay, listen. I live and die by my Fibonacci's, and I keep things pretty simple. But the fundamental basis for price action, guys, anything in any type of market, you're gonna have your natural zigzag ABCD movements. Your Elliott waves will have a lot of people get too detailed with this shit. You don't need to. They'll give you the 5 count bull crap. That's fine. Those are still ABCDs. Okay, that's usually two completed ABCDs with an Elliott wave count. Doesn't matter. I'm not gonna get too technical. What I'm trying to tell you is this. Okay, there's two things that you need to realize in this type of price action, this type of early adoption type technologies. Okay, so Bitcoin. If I knew about Bitcoin back in 2014, and that's fine, no need to cry about it. I wish I had, of course, but I didn't. No problem. My point is this. I am honestly telling you this because it's easy to speak, in hindsight, you could say. But I'm telling you, those of you who know me, how I analyze things, I could have told you that with this type of price action, okay, at the very least, from that $160 $150 bottom after that massive run up in 2014, okay, at the very least, would come up, 12x to 1800, eventually to the 2.618, which is an extreme Fibonacci extension, but that's what happens with these early technologies. And at the very most, I'm talking about just in absolute fucking just blow off tops, right? It could potentially hit that 4.23%. So imagine if I had made this prediction back then. I mean, you would have rightly called me a fucking lunatic. You would have just scoffed at pretty much everything I said, because I'm telling you right now, I would have honestly told you that this would have been a buy at that level, potentially, okay? Probably, because everything's possible, but probably eventually hit $6,000. I mean, if anybody would have heard me say something like that back then, I'm telling you, they would have thought I was fucking crazy. Well, let's see what happened, guys. Not only did we pass the $6,000 mark, we went 2.5 times past it. Okay? I'm going to keep it real simple. Because I don't have time to go into the nitty gritties. Okay? The last count was done. We have to essentially, given the symmetry and the subsequent move that we had in the big monthly chart, we have to draw our fibs now from essentially top to bottom, okay? Which means from the very lowest point back in the day to the cycle high at 20,000. Guys, that exact scenario, and everything has been confirmed. You saw me pick the bottom. This was the bottom. This was the bottom. This was supposed to start, going up about a year ago. Problem is, it needed a little more room for accumulation, and then, COVID hit. We had this little shakeout, but I almost don't count that because we're way back in positive territory. Obviously, we're recovered, and we are exactly where it should have been had this not been here. But nonetheless, guys, this takes us at a 4.23% extended Fibonacci extension D target, essentially, because what we're really forming is a basically very extended, but it's an ABCD again. That's all we're doing. But guys, to 100, sorry. But I'm telling you, the game is completely different from 2017. The type of money that's coming into the sector right now, and I told you about this in my report last year. Institutional money was going to come in. Index funds are going to come in. Custody has been established. Companies, public companies are buying this shit with their own treasuries. Okay, I mean, this is unfucking-livable. Public companies, much less private ones, but public companies are buying Bitcoin with shareholder money. Okay, the fundamentals are unfucking-livable. I am a charts guy. I don't care about the fundamentals. I'm telling you, because I told you this was going to happen before the PayPal's coming out last month, before whatever else comes up on a daily fucking basis. I don't care about that because technicals to me always trump fundamentals. The fundamentals just kind of come into, in my opinion, to just kind of fulfill that prophecy if you really know how to read the charts, because the charts don't lie. This fucking short squeeze that we had with this type of symmetry and timing and pattern and Fibonacci and perfect Fibonacci harmonic waves, perfect support resistance, levels being respected. What I always talk about, to find out the resumption of the trend, which was overall up. All you got to do is draw those counter trend lines. You got to draw them the right way, and the moment that breaks, and that's how I knew that was the bottom. I mean, that was my fucking green light. It's when I got everybody that I knew in on Bitcoin at about $4,000, $3,800. I started buying it from about $6,500 myself back in 18 at that 618. But I knew there was a chance for it to go down. I dollar cost averaged, and I got my last few bags down here. Then I got one more after COVID. Okay, but I'm looking on Bitcoin alone pretty damn fucking good. I'm not gonna lie. It'd be jaw dropping if you looked at my portfolio right now. That's not what I'm here to talk about. Okay, I had no doubt this would happen. My point is, everything, all the signs are there. All the signs are there. Blow off top. I told you what was gonna happen. It dumped. I told you how we were going to bottom out around that time and at what price level and how we were going to bottom out. Guys, call the top, call the bottom. I'm better than 1,000 right now. If you don't want to listen to me, this is not financial advice, but if you don't want to put any weight to what I'm about to say, just do it at your own risk. Because I'm telling you right now, a lot of the quote-unquote YouTubers out there, guys, they're calling for massive pullbacks. I mean, could we have something? It's possible. It's possible. Anything's possible with cryptos. But I personally believe that we won't have any real major pullback until either $24,000 to $32,000. Okay? And possibly even past that. I'm telling you, I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy. But this baby could very well then do something like this and then resume. Because the amount of time, what this COVID thing did is stretched that time symmetry, the time that this type of setup was about to bounce up higher. It just added another 3 to 6 months of that. Okay, so it's been extremely squeezed, so to speak, from a technical perspective, from a technical standpoint. The sideways action, I think, happened, lasted a little longer than this type of setup typically permits. Okay, and I believe now that we're finally getting some momentum, I'm telling you, I mean, it could find that 20,000 resistance, kind of like gold did at 2,000, and now it's pulling back, taking a breather. But guys, this is fucking Bitcoin. This is Bitcoin. Into the cryptoverse, Ben Cohen. Okay, somebody in my VIP subscription asked me to watch a few videos of this one guy, and the guy is very smart. I mean, he does a lot of analysis with time symmetry and shit like that, but he absolutely clearly knows nothing about patterns. And most important, he might maybe just doesn't talk about it, but most importantly, he is failing miserably to point out the fact that where we were in 2017 and where we are now, as far as the infrastructure and interest and sentiment from the real big fucking money that I've been talking about in Bitcoin, I mean, we're galaxies apart, not worlds apart, fucking galaxies apart. Okay, guys, Apple, I'm sorry, PayPal alone and Square are buying up more Bitcoin than what's being mined on a daily basis. First of all, that's nothing. I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg. But Grayscale Bitcoin. Those of you who remember, this is what I told you. Okay, this was a $1 million pick in my opinion. On March of 2019, I told everybody in my paid VIP subscription to buy GBTC, and I gave them a macro. I rarely do this because I don't go years out. I usually swing trade, a couple of weeks to a couple of months at a time, type of time frames. I told everybody to buy fucking right now GBTC, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, and they have now accumulated 500,000 Bitcoins, guys. I told them to buy at 425. Where are we? I told them to buy, there you go, March 19th. Right here. Here's the pick. This was a live pick. 3/4/2019, guys. Right here. A screenshot. We are at $23 almost. We're at, shit, 500% almost on that, but that's fine. What I'm telling you is this. Based on the exact same ratio, because this follows Bitcoin, this baby's going to at least $300-400 now. I thought it was going to be just 200, but I'm telling you, this could go to $300-400 because I thought Bitcoin was probably only going to go to $100,000. But the price action that I'm seeing, guys, the price action that I'm seeing, I mean, just look at the fucking chart. Just, if you've done this as long as I have, this is gonna fucking surprise even the biggest bulls out there. The biggest Bitcoin bulls are gonna be fucking just, they're gonna be rocked as to what this shit's about to do. Okay, now let's look at some correlations. If I have a $100,000 for Bitcoin, conservative, with that 4.23%, remember that extremely extended Fibonacci target, which is the last, possible target typically. 4.23. I mean, it's very extended, it's very extreme, but we're talking crypto, so this fits the bill. At 100, let's call it 100,000. Okay. where would it put Litecoin on this same fucking type of setup? Litecoin has a bit, I mean, has a bit to catch up for sure, but it puts Litecoin, guys, at about 1,900 bucks. So let's see what happened last time. Litecoin topped at about 380, right? What was the ratio? What was the ratio? 20,000 Bitcoin. I know a lot of people think Litecoin is supposed to be 20% of Bitcoin as a gold silver type of bullshit ratio. I don't know where they got that from, but it's never really, I got to look at facts. It's never even come close to that. But last time, 380. So the ratio was about 52 point, let's call it 52 and a half. So 1/52nd, essentially, in terms of price, is what Litecoin was to Bitcoin. Well, I just showed you the new targets based on these next cyclical tops. Okay, if we do reach the 4.23% extended Fibonacci extensions, let's call it 100,000 Bitcoin, and that was what, 1,900 Litecoin, guys, to the fucking penny, exact same ratio. The correlation that I'm seeing is just unfucking-believable. But if what I think will happen happens, guys, I'm telling you, like I was watching the kid, my subscriber told me about, Ben Cohen, into the cryptoverse. You know, he is so fucking adamant that this cycle, you know, he uses a lot of fancy terms, okay? He seems like a very smart guy, but, you know, monotonic regressions and all kinds of shit. But again, he fails to look at the setups. I don't think he's following Fibonacci type setups, which I think is what drives markets, or at least what really pinpoints the next moves and targets in markets. Not what drives it, but what gives you the best indication as to probably where we're going. Okay, you know, time symmetry matters absolutely, and it matters in Fibonacci patterns as well. Okay, but the harmonic beats, which I use in Forex trading, which applies the same thing to everything else, but the harmonic beats and waves and your bell curves and the way they stretch out, the way they correlate with fibs, support and resistance, time symmetry, of course, as well, moving averages, candlestick formations. He's not talking about any of that stuff. He's not talking about any of that shit. Again, maybe he knows about it and just doesn't talk about it, but I doubt it. I mean, I doubt it. I don't think he knows. I don't think he's aware or is familiar with that type of trading. Okay, his analysis on, you know, previous cycles and how long those took and whatnot. Yeah, I get it. You're drawing, you know, how many days it took from here and there, what the price was, and it took a little longer each time, and I get your gist, man. But you are failing at something pretty fucking critical right now, is that the type of money that's coming in, okay? It's basic supply and demand 101, guys. The type of money that's coming in, that's about to come in into this sector, compared to the fucking minuscule amount of supply that we have, I mean, you have no idea. You have no idea what's about to happen. I can say this with confidence. I told you in a video back in 2018 that this run up to 20,000 eventually is going to look like this did back in 2014. And this is quite a fucking move, and that's quite a statement. I'll give you that. So for us to have anything close to that, you know, to that type of scenario where this move in 2017 to $20,000 becomes just a little fucking blip on a chart, yeah, man, we'd have to be up there. I mean, we'd have to be at $200,000-$300,000. I think that's where we're going. I think that's where we're going. And when you think about it, I mean, it's only 10x, you know, past the last all-time highs, but most importantly, 10x past the all-time highs under a very, very fundamentally speaking bullish infrastructure for cryptocurrencies. Guys, what is it? Berkshire Hathaway. This is Warren Buffett stock. This is one stock in one country's index. Yes, you're reading that right. It's $350,000 per share. That's what it will cost you to buy into old Warren Buffett stock. Okay, this is holding company, but $350,000. You mean to tell me that one company stock that maybe returns 20% a year? I mean, that's that's nothing to laugh at. It's serious money for those who have a lot of money, because 20% of $1,000 is shit. But for it's those who have money clearly that get into this type of positions. I mean, $350,000 to get one, even with leverage, the best leverage out there with the best accounts is maybe on margin 4 to maybe 8 to 1 tops. But it's still $350,000 per share, and you're telling me that a company's stock can be valued at this ridiculous fucking number, in my opinion. Okay, I don't care who owns it or who's behind it, and you mean to tell me that an entire technology, as the internet was in the 2000s, cannot make it to 300 or 500 or $1 million tomorrow? I mean, guys, you need to seriously reevaluate your expectations. Into the cryptoverse, this is to you specifically. I'm telling you right now, do not underestimate. Your analysis is sound, and you might be right, but do not underestimate Bitcoin and other cryptos. Do not underestimate this field, this asset class, because when they start moving, they'll fucking start moving. It wouldn't surprise me if we're at some point next year where you have a $10,000 weekly candle. It will not surprise me. I don't care what you say. It's 12 years old now, and to me, it is looking like it hasn't even started yet, which is ridiculous to say because crazy returns have already been made. But I'm telling you, where this thing could go, it's gonna be fucking jaw dropping. Okay, I hope I I hope I got this through your head, guys. That just brace yourselves for what's about to happen, and most importantly, do not underestimate. Ben Cohen. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He is convinced that it's going to take another 2-3 years till maybe just 100,000. Well, listen, you might be right in the time symmetry into the cryptoverse. You might be right. Maybe it'll take a little longer than even I expect. But what's not to say that by 2021 or end of next year, we're not at 70 to 100,000, and then by whenever the fuck you think, 2023, we won't be at $250,000 to $300,000. Okay, so yes, maybe we won't peak until 2023, but it won't be that. I'll tell you this. We won't be anywhere near fucking 100,000 if that's how long it's going to take. Because the pace that this is going at, my friend, I'm telling you right now, I'm telling everybody right now, watch out. Those of you who have waited, and I've told you for the last couple of years, do not sell. There's no point in selling at that type of a loss if you got in up here, which is probably most of you guys. Do not sell, because soon enough you're gonna get your money back and some. And I'm telling you, you waited that long, you might as well wait a little longer, guys. It won't be that much longer. I promise you. It won't be nearly as long as what the consolidation and pullback was. I promise you that. I'm thinking a year and a half tops. We're at least at 100,000 to $120,000. And after that, you know what happens with Bitcoin. Last cycle, I mean, we got to 10K, and it only took 3 weeks to double. Okay, so I'm telling you right now, guys, just hold on tight, and most importantly, do not underestimate. Why am I saying that? I'm saying that because I do not want you guys to get out early. Again, it's not financial advice. Do whatever the fuck you want with this. I know I have my plan. You should have one for you. But my point is, it's easy when you're down here and dreaming about Bitcoin going up. But it's a different story now. For those of you who are not experienced traders and investors, it's a different story when we're finally getting that fucking run up. Then you're gonna see what you're really made of. Okay? Because I'm telling you right now, it will not surprise me. I'm gonna be honest with you. It will not surprise me because the 127 and 618, which are the very minimal first targets for this pattern in Bitcoin, I'm telling you, I think not only we're probably going to go to those at least before any major pullback, but we're probably going to blow through those. We're probably going to blow through those and then use those as the next level of support. Okay, let me show you something before I go. This is Amazon back in 2000, 99, whatever, whenever that was. Stuck, tech bubble, 1999, 2000, something like that, right? I was in high school at the time. I remember hearing about it, but knew nothing about investing. I wish I did. Okay, guys, so went from 110, crashed that shit down to what, $4. Anybody wouldn't have, nobody would have touched this. Nobody that really, anybody that doesn't know anything about trading and this type of setups that I'm talking about would not have touched this. But I'm telling you right now, had I been positive about the fundamentals behind Amazon, fuck yeah, I would have bought this. And I would have told you the same thing, like I said earlier with Bitcoin's 2014 chart. I would have said most likely, had I known back then what I known about Fibonacci's, most likely the 127, 618 will be the first target. Guys, to the fucking pip, but blew right past it and then came back and used those levels as support, and then the rest, I don't need to tell you guys, the rest is fucking history. It will not surprise me that 5 years from now, this is what Bitcoin does, and this little blip back here, like the tech bubble for Amazon, is what Bitcoin's $20,000 move in 2017 will look like, 5 to 10 years from now. All right, I hope this helps. Hang on tight, and again, do not underestimate this move, guys, because we're about to fucking take off. Thank you.